Grand blessings, grand risings, everyone. I am at the park. I came to meditate intentionally. Just needed to create space. Most days I'm dealing with people on a consistency, and sometimes it's just good to listen to your body and listen to your mind when your body is telling you to find a quiet place, find a safe space for yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually. There's a lot going on in the world, so many moving parts, and sometimes you just gotta find that little space of peace, or create that space of peace. I met a young lady the other day while I was at the park, and I actually had seen her doing a hand mudra, and so when I got the opportunity, I asked her about it, and she was doing the hand mudra for the heart chakra. The Anahata is actually the correct name for it, and so she and I got to talking, and she was asking me what do I do, and I said, well, I teach people basically how to heal negative emotions, teach them not to live there, teach them to filter them. And so as we're engaging one another, she says it's hard, and I said it's only hard because we think that we are losing something. That's why we think it's hard. But the reality is, it's not thinking of this space of losing, but it is this space of gaining. And it's just sometimes learning to change the perspective, learning to change how we see things. But we struggle in it, and I did it until I really got the concept of letting go or releasing. Is not about losing. It's about being aware of what no longer serves you, being aware of what no longer can carry you to this next version of yourself. And so we are attached, and we're attached to emotions, we're attached to belief systems, we're attached to ideas of how we think a thing should be. And I talk about that all the time. But I said that as I was sharing with her, it's not about it being hard, but it's about, what do you want the most? Do you really want your future self? And your future self is down the line saying, come on, I'm waiting on you. But we get so ingratiated in the past, and what we don't have anymore. And it's not about having a disposition about throwing anything away or saying, oh, forget that, I don't care about that. It's not from that space, but really truly telling that space, even if it hurt you, even if it disappointed you, thank you for allowing me to share space and time with you, or I give thanks to the experience, and you take the good pieces and you carry those with you, and you release, or you let go of what no longer serves you. We struggle with moving forward because deep down inside we're not being honest with ourselves. We're not having honest conversations with ourselves. Sometimes it is about just having that honest conversation in this context. There's a part of me that don't want to let it go. That doesn't mean that you won't let it go, but being honest about where you are in that present moment at that present time. And that's what I call filtering. You're filtering. You're being honest about where you are. You're being honest about what you're holding. I don't know how to let it go. I don't know how to let go of the promise that they made to me and they didn't keep it. but then starting to really discover, you know, what do I want my life to look like? What do I want my emotional self to look like? You know, and everything that I talk about, I had to go through it. I had to redefine a lot of things in my thinking. I had to, you know, go back and say, this belief system no longer serves me. This belief system doesn't work for this version of Alexis. I did intense therapy. I did it for 8 months. I was in therapy every week. And I don't necessarily want to say, you know, that people have to take that route. But I had to be willing to do my shadow work. I had to be willing to do my soul work, you know. And I went back to spaces when I was 5 years old, when I was 10 years old, in my therapy. Because those spaces and those places was with the adult version of myself that never got a voice, that never had a voice to speak, that never had a voice to share their experiences for whatever the reasons were. But I will say this, and I don't say this in a space, from a space of roughness, but I do say it from a space of, you know, we struggle to let go because there's something within us that we're still attached to. We still want something. We still feel like something should have happened the way that we thought it should have happened. There is something that you're not aware of that's still keeping you attached. And sometimes it's just really having an honest conversation with self. I'm mad because he didn't choose me. I'm mad because she didn't choose me. I'm mad because, you know, you know, they broke a promise and they said that they wouldn't do this. Because, and I've said this before, because the emotions that we feel are the symptoms. It's not what the issue is. And I think, like, once we really, when you really start to do your shadow work, you realize that all the things that you hold on to and all the things that you believe should be the way that you think it should believe is really empty. It's emptiness. Because sometimes we're holding on to ideas and belief systems because that's what we were told to do. But we really have to get to a space where we understand it's not about losing. It's not about losing. It's about the power to release what no longer serves you so you can move to this next version of yourself, because you're gaining when you move to the next version of yourself. You're becoming lighter. You're becoming emotionally lighter. You're becoming spiritually aligned. It's about what you are gaining. But as long as I'm looking back and I want to hold on to all these things that are just dysfunctional and insufficient and, you know, make me carry physical and spiritual weight, creates toxicity in my body, creates cancer in my body, creates disease in my body. It's not about losing. It's about gaining. It's about you going to that next version of yourself in that space of happiness, that space of peace, that space of oneness, that space, you know, that you wake up happy, you wake up smiling, and not because anything happened. The word happy is based out of the word happening. You know, when you start to do the etymology on the word. And so we base our happiness on if something is happening to us or for us. But there is a space, talk Alexis, that you can just wake up happy. Nothing has happened because you have reprogrammed your body. You have reprogrammed your mind. You have reprogrammed your thinking. And I see so many of us weighed down, and we in church, and we spinning around, and we speaking in tongues, but we go home and we suicidal. That's real talk right there. We don't want to live, but yet I'm doing everything they told me I need to do and how I need to do, and I'm reading my Bible and I'm going to Bible study, but you're still not happy. Talk Alexis. But there is a space. There is a space where you can wake up happy. And not that you don't get angry, and not that you don't get upset, but your body is happy. So I thank you for allowing me to share space and time with you. I honor all of you. And until next time, beautiful people, Ashe.